Hello everyone, in today's video we're taking a look at time acceleration and the PMDG 777-300ER. Let's get started. Now if you're flying this airplane, chances are you're not going to be doing a lot of flights where you basically sit down, dial in a destination that is 8,000 nautical miles away, and several hours later stand up and then stretch and be like, well, that was a good flight. Most of you are probably going to be basically letting the thing rip, so to speak, of these long distances. That's fine. I think, again, like I said, the most important components, of course, are some of the step climbs and stuff that you could basically set a stopwatch to. But for everybody else, sometimes there is a desire, of course, to fly the flight as much as you possibly can while being in the seat, other than, kind of getting up and kind of going for a walk, so to speak. And the best way we do that is through time acceleration. Now, the good folks at PMDG made time acceleration very accessible for us in this airplane, which I think is really, really to their credit. The first thing we have, of course, is we have traditional time acceleration. If you have a key bound to this, I do, and it allows you to basically change the speed that the sim is currently running at. If you look over here in the bottom left corner, PMDG has provided us with a really handy little feature, and it's color-coded to tell us what time acceleration we have. So for example, if I go ahead and click my time acceleration, I am currently at 2x time acceleration. You can see my climb is sped up quite a bit. Remember, fuel consumption scales. So if I tap it again, you'll notice it turns this bright red to notify me the fact that I'm at 4x or greater time acceleration. Now, if I sit here and I crank it up one more click, I'm actually at 8x time acceleration. And you can see this thing is booking quite successfully here. Now I'm going to go ahead and reduce my time acceleration a few clicks. And when it returns to this normal orange color, that's going to be the universal sign that we have achieved a regular level of time acceleration. Now, there's another type of time acceleration available in this plane, and that is the automatic time acceleration, which is fantastic. They did a wonderful job on it. It should be part of Flight Sim. And the way we access it is two different ways. The first method is if we're on a little tablet over here, we have a little Autocruise button up here, we can click that. And second of all, if you happen to have your menu handy, if you go to your menu here and you go up to your PMDG setup and we go up to our options, you will notice there are options for it on our page here. I believe it is on page 6. Here we are. One cool thing that they actually integrated here with when it comes to automatic time compression is to give you the ability to turn it on and off by clicking right here with your mouse. It's kind of a little handy feature there. And what the automatic time acceleration is going to attempt to do is try to get you going as fast as possible without compromising the safety of your flights. Got to push that button. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and dial in a couple different features. One thing we can do is do automatic step climbs. If we select this option and we designed our flight with step climbs in mind, it will actually automatically change the altitude of our aircraft, our autopilot target, and reduce time acceleration to climb up to it. We're not going to be doing that today. It's too short of a flight. The other option you'll notice is we have this thing that says pause at TOD. If you turn this on 10 miles before top of descent, it will actually pause the simulation so that you can basically grab the controls real quick for the purposes of basically getting descend now and all that other thing. And then lastly, we have the thing where we can set auto time compression or max time compression. Now, as a general rule, most computers are going to have no issues with 4x. 4x is pretty high. The important thing is you can go up to 8x and 16x if you're flying over water and you have a very powerful computer. Again, this is the maximum limited time compression. It won't necessarily achieve this number. As a general rule, if you know you're flying over the ocean, 16x is fine, especially if you have a good computer. If you're not very confident on, kind of the stuff you're flying over, we're going to be going over New York pretty soon, and that's going to cause all sorts of frame issues. It's worthwhile not to set it so high. But again, for us, our demonstration today, I'm going to leave it at 8x. I've done 16, like I said, over water. I wouldn't recommend it otherwise. Now, here's the important part. This enables it. Remember, there's a couple different ways we can enable it. We can either come over here and click it on, or if we prefer, we can come over here and click it here. Now, what you'll notice when we enable automatic time compression acceleration, is you will notice the fact this turns this green color to notify us that it is going. Now, one of the cool things is the plane is still completely accessible right now. The simulation right now is picking the best time acceleration for itself at this moment. And you can see right now we're actually at 8x during this climb here. And it will actually reduce this simulation rate when we get to the top of our climb. So I'll go ahead and move my head back just a little bit here. And you can see we're ripping up, passing 25,000. Again, we probably could have done 16x on the climb, but it gives you a good idea of what happens. Now watch what happens when we get to the top of the climb. You'll notice as we're starting to get close, the time rate actually dropped. It's reducing the time acceleration intentionally whenever you're encountering a turn or some kind of major climb or descent event. Another thing that'll happen too, which is really, really cool, you'll actually notice it dropped us down to 1x for the purposes of this last little component. Now I'll show you something cool. If I actually disable this by turning that off again, if I use conventional time acceleration, now you can see I'm up to 8x right now, or 4x I should say, this is not going to interrupt me because I am on manual time acceleration here. It will just do its normal thing. So I'm going to go ahead and pull us out of normal time acceleration. acceleration. I'm going to come over here and re-enable automatic. You can see again, it turns green. And you'll see that it's actually holding me at a 1x sim rate here. And now the reason it's doing that is because it wants to wait for the aircraft to basically settle at the desired altitude that we've climbed ourselves up to. Now, there's another really, really powerful feature that we'll take a look at as well, and that is pausing automatically at the top of your descent point, especially when you want to come make your way back down. That is a little tricky of a feature to use because it does not pause you at top of descent. It pauses you 10 nautical miles before top of descent, number one. Number two, what it will do, and you can actually see it switched off when we switch mode here. The other thing it's going to do is it will freeze the simulation. It won't pause you like over here, your active pause. It'll actually stop the entire simulation from running at all. And now the reason that's really, really important for us, of course, is because when that happens, we have to unpause it. So what I'm actually going to do is temporarily disable my acceleration here. I'm going to go down here to my, again, you got your return page. I'm going to go back to progress here. You can see I have 60 nautical miles to my top of descent. This is a very, very short flight for an airplane like this. I'll go ahead and dial this down to our desired altitude here. I'm going to switch this mode. I know it's going to be 1,800 feet when we get down to the bottom. But what we're going to do is we're going to intentionally trigger that feature, and I'm going to show you what happens. So let's go ahead and accelerate up to the green here. You got 1527 here. Our top of descent is going to be in 57 nautical miles. You'll see everything start going by a lot faster. Really fun pro tip, by the way, is if you go outside of the aircraft, you're going to get slightly better timed acceleration than inside the aircraft because you have less of this stuff to be rendering, and that does help quite a bit with the performance there. So we can take a look. We've got about 40 nautical miles. 40 nautical miles. Look at that, 36. We're just about to our top of descent here. And we're going to see something interesting happen when we get there. The entire simulation is going to suddenly freeze. And I kind of got to see it to believe it. And we have about 11, 10 nautical miles, and we're frozen. When I mean frozen, I mean frozen. There's nothing you can do. You can come up here and active pause on and off all you want all afternoon. You can press the escape key, you can press the unescape key, all that. Nothing is going to unfreeze the simulation, except if you press your escape key and go to your controls options, if you have your keyboard all kind of squared away here, if you type in pause, you will notice that there is an option for something called set pause off. You're going to want to bind a key or a button on your joystick to this, because with that now, I can now press Control-Shift-P, and you will notice my simulation has now unfrozen. I'm actually going to go ahead and shut this off. That's an important little kind of thing that it does to confuse the heck out of you, so to speak. And of course, there's our New York City right off our left wing. So we're doing great as far as this goes here. Now, one of the things you got to remember too with this plane is just because you did that doesn't necessarily mean you can't sit here and still run regular acceleration. Again, it's your choice of which mode that you want to do. So if you want to really, really turbo your way up there, you can zing up there. You can go to your VNAV button. You can go to your next page. Of course, it's already probably started its descent, so it's going to start making its way down right away. And now it's just a matter of bringing us all the way safely down to the ground. Now, you can continue using that automatic feature all the way down, but keep in mind that a lot of times at this point in the journey, you really should be the one doing all the flying. Enjoy.